Now the tax collectors and sinners were all gathered around to hear Jesus. But the Pharisees and the teachers of the law muttered, "This man welcomes sinners and eats with them." Then Jesus told them this parable. Suppose one of you has 100 sheep and loses one of them. Doesn't he leave the 99 in the open country and go after the lost sheep until he finds it? And when he finds it, he joyfully puts it on his shoulders and goes on. Then he calls his friends and neighbors together and says, "Rejoice with me, I have found my lost sheep." I tell you that in the same way, there will be more rejoicing in heaven over one sinner who repents than over 99 righteous persons who do not need to repent. Or suppose a woman has 10 silver coins and loses one. Doesn't she light a lamp, sweep the house, and search carefully until she finds it? And when she finds it, she calls her friends and neighbors together and says, "Rejoice with me, I have found my coin." In the same way, I tell you, there is rejoicing in the presence of the angels of God over one sinner who repents. This is the word of God for the people of God.
Thanks be to God.
I want to say a statement, and I want you to tell me whether or not you don't have to say it out loud. If you want to, you can. I want you to tell me whether or not you can connect with it. I feel like there are parts of myself that have been lost along the way, and I don't know if I can go back and find them again. Personally, I can recognize that. I can appreciate that statement. I can appreciate what was said. I think we all have had losses along the way in our lives. Whether they're recent losses or they're long past. We've all had losses in our lives. Maybe you can even name parts of yourself that you've lost along the way. Maybe they're, again, more recent wounds. Maybe they're scarred memories. But always the question, can we find that lost piece for ourselves again? Can we go back again? Can we become whole again? You see, I wonder if the shepherd and the woman were asking themselves that same question. I wonder if they felt like they had lost parts of their lives. A sheep, a coin. But understanding that it wasn't just any sheep. It was an important sheep. It was a significant sheep. It was a special sheep. And it wasn't just any coin. It was a particular coin. It was an important coin. It was a significant coin. And I wonder if we think about that with our own lives. Maybe we've lost part of our lives, but it's not just any part of our lives. It's an important part, a significant part, a special part. Without it, we are less than whole, and we want ourselves back. You know, I think we, again, can all recognize what it's like to lose a part of ourselves. And I think in a way we can all identify with the woman and with the shepherd. Now, I know this is not the usual way this gospel message is interpreted, is it? It's not. And believe me, if I'm wrong, I'll admit it. I have my wonderful wife in front of me that will also tell me if I'm wrong, if I need to be told that. But I think if we really read the story, there's more to it. There's more to this story. It's usually, well, this shepherd has lost his sheep. This woman has lost a coin. And it's actually sinners who have gone astray and they need to be brought back. They've done wrong. They've got lost. And they're seen as somebody who is coming back to God. They're seeking God. They're searching for God. But honestly, I don't know if that really fits the story quite as well. The woman says, "I have found the coin that I have lost." And the shepherd says, "I have found the sheep that I have lost." The woman lost her coin. The shepherd lost the sheep. There's more to the story about the shepherd and the woman than there is about the lost sheep or the lost coin. Isn't there? And besides that, can we really put free will as much on a coin or a sheep? I mean, they can't think at the level we do, right? You see, the lost sheep and the lost coin already belonged to the shepherd, already belonged to the woman. So it wasn't like they wandered off. It was already a part of them. The shepherd had 100 sheep to begin with. The woman had 10 coins to begin with. The shepherd lost a part of himself. The woman lost a part of herself. They were whole. They were complete until something in their life was lost. So I want to take a different approach to this gospel message. What if we are the shepherd? What if we are that woman? What if the sheep and coins are parts of our lives, parts of ourselves, parts that are missing? Maybe today's gospel is not about categorizing about ourselves or others and saying who's a sinner, who's righteous. You know, kind of like the Pharisees and Sadducees were just doing, right? Jesus called them out on it. He said, don't categorize. Don't point out who's right and who's wrong, who's in, who's out, who's good, who's bad. Interestingly enough, if you really pay attention to the gospel message here, there's a lot in here. Luke says that Jesus told them the parable. Well, there was groups of people here. Who was he telling the story to? Who was he telling parables to? Was he talking to the tax collectors and sinners who were coming close? They knew they needed something. They knew that they were needed Jesus. Or was he talking to the Pharisees and Sadducees? Who was he talking to? I think he was talking to all of them. He was talking to everybody. I think anybody that could hear his voice, he was talking to. And here's the thing. He's talking to us too. That's why we have the gospel message. So that we can continue to take it in. Even thousands of years later, we can hear that story. We can hear that message. And sometimes we'll hear it one way and it impacts our lives. And sometimes we'll hear it a different way and it will impact our lives. The difference between the tax collectors and the sinners and the Pharisees and the Sadducees, the scribes, is one group is lost and the other is not lost. Wait, that's not right, is it? That isn't right. Who was lost? All of them. Who was sinful? All of them. How many of us still struggle with being lost? How many of us still struggle with sin? All of us. You see, the difference between the two groups that Jesus was talking to is one group is lost and knew that they were lost. The other group was just as lost, but didn't know it. When have you lost a part of yourself? When have you struggled? You've looked back and realized you're missing something. Look back and realize I no longer have joy in the things I had joy in. How many of you remember when it would be a day like this and you would be thrilled to run out and pray? Right? I wonder what I never had a number of. But when do we lose that? When do we lose that part that found joy in things? What parts of your life are you looking for right now? What do you need to be whole? Have you ever said that you need to get your life turned around? Oh my gosh, I think anybody who says no might be fibbing a little bit. Right? We've all looked at ourselves, we've all looked at our lives and said, I really need to turn this around. And we realize something is missing. You know that maybe you don't know what it is, but you have this longing, this restless longing, a sense that there's something missing. to your life. Maybe you knew there was something missing in your marriage, in your relationships, in your parenting, in your reputation, your integrity, your work. You wanted to turn things around. What if you walked away from a relationship, a part of your life, because it was simply too hard or too scary? Have you ever looked in the mirror and wondered where the joy, the enthusiasm, the vitality of your life went? Sometimes we lose parts of ourselves to grief and sorrow when life becomes so overwhelming, so confusing. You have all these wounds, all these pains that come from life, the circumstances that are nobody's fault. Sometimes the choices we make, sometimes we lose ourselves in fear, anger, and jealousy. Wanting to be right more than to do right. I've been guilty of that. Maybe it's judgments that we make of others, refusing to forgive. Sometimes we lose ourselves to success, gaining approval, meeting the expectations of others. Sometimes a lost part of us is our faith, our hope, or our dreams. It's so easy to lose a piece of ourselves because we can do it in 1,000 different ways. There are so many ways. Now, don't get me wrong, there are times when God comes at us, maybe with a scalpel, and cuts the parts out of us that need to be out. And that's good. That's important. Those are the parts we need to get out of us. We need to separate ourselves from, and that is a good thing. But sometimes we let other things cut chunks out. And it's not pretty. God cuts with a scalpel. The rest of the world cuts with a dull knife. And it's painful, and it hurts, and it's messy. Are we settling for less than what we deserve? Are we settling for less than what God wants us to have? Are we settling for less than what we are designed to be? Are you living less than a whole and complete life? I found this quote from the poet Mary Oliver. And she said, "Are you breathing just a little and calling it a life?" And I think there's a lot of people out there that take a lot of shallow breaths. And they feel like it's life. But we can't do that. We shouldn't settle. None of us should settle for that. Today's gospel message is an invitation to wholeness. To not be 90% or 99% whole, but to be completely whole. God wants us to be completely whole. When we join with Christ in our lives, we become completely whole. But we have to be whole ourselves first. You know, it's like marriage. When you have two people who are kind of sort of heads, and they try to come together to make whole, that doesn't work. You have to be whole first, and then come together. And it's a perfect marriage. And that's what Christ wants. He wants a perfect marriage together between you, the complete whole you, and Him. You go out and you be who God has told you to be. There's a wholeness, an abundance. It's not quantity, but quality. I want us to learn something today. The gospel of Jesus Christ is not about making bad people good. Before you lynch me or cause trouble for me, understand, I want to say it a slightly different way. It's about bringing people back to life. That's what the gospel message is about. It's a path that we find ourselves on. It's a call to wholeness. It's a journey. Jesus is calling us back to ourselves, back to wholeness, back to completeness. Our life's journey is a whole journey. It's a lifelong search for wholeness. And where are you on this journey? Now, we know these parables are the parable of the lost sheep and the parable of the lost coin, but it could easily be called the parable of the found sheep and the parable of the found coin, because that's how the stories end. That's the important part. It isn't so much the fact that they're lost, but they've been found. You know, as Christians, what do we celebrate? We celebrate that our Lord died on the cross, but then we really celebrate when he came back. We don't celebrate the halfway point of the story. We celebrate the end of the story. The fruition of everything. You see, these stories are not just about losing. They're not just about being found. It's about hope. It's a journey. It's a process. Jesus said the shepherd goes after the washing until he finds it. The woman swept and cleaned her house until she found that point. She kept looking. He kept looking. And there's a promise in that too for each one of us. There's a call in it for us. The promise is there will be a finding for us too, and the call is to search until we find. I guarantee you, every one of you has something that is lost in your lives. And maybe you don't realize it. It's entirely possible you don't realize it. Sometimes it's a call to light a lamp, sweep our house, search carefully in every place. In every place where we're comfortable, where our most important relationships are, we're most familiar, most known. But then other times, it might very well be a call to us out into the wilderness, into the wild, into the untamed parts of our lives. That kind of searching and searching until we find is not searching outside of ourselves, but watching and searching within. It means searching until we value ourselves beyond what we have done, beyond what we have left undone, beyond what we have, beyond what we don't have, beyond our successes, beyond our failures, beyond what is or might have been. We need to value ourselves like Christ himself values us. And that's a struggle for some people, because they've always been told they're not good enough. And if you ever hear anybody say that, first of all, remind them that Jesus absolutely loves every bit of that. And remind them that you do too. And be sincere about it. And if you can't be sincere, maybe that's the part of you that's missing. Maybe that's the part that's lost. Because we have such a hurting world out here right now. We have so many people struggling right now. But the finding will happen. The finding will happen, I guarantee you. Each one of us will find what we've lost. If that means that the childlike joy of running in the rain, find it. If that means finding that maybe that part that shows compassion and love to others is missing, find it. We need to find ourselves to be whole before we can ever tell anybody else, or guide anybody else in finding the wholeness that they can have as well. And it's a continuous call. It's never going to end.